Hi everyone, and welcome to the Friday Cuppa. I'm Victoria, and we're back for another episode, hopefully this time without the technical issues. Each episode we'll be sitting down together with a nice cuppa, because who doesn't love a bit of tea, to chat about life, business, and everything in between. Whether you're here for insights, a laugh, or a fresh way of looking at things, I hope you feel right at home. If you have a question or thoughts and you are watching live, drop them in the chat, as we'd love to hear from you. Now, I've missed all my cues here, but we'll run with this. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome the lovely Jasmine Reddin. Welcome. Please do tell us a little bit about you and what it is that you do. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, really nice to be here. I am in my gym at the moment. I am a personal trainer for women who struggle with exercise. So my clients are women from all ranges of life and all ages who have maybe not found it easy to get into or stay into.
Oh, hello. I think Jasmine's lost her signal. Whilst we wait for Jasmine's signal to come back, God, you love technical issues. I will show you a video that shows you what Jasmine does. Bear with me a second. And I should be able to hit play on this. Oh. So this gives you an insight into the sort of things that Jasmine does with her clients. So let's come back. Oh, what's happened there? It's not coming back to my screen. Here we go. So sorry, you lost your signal for a moment. You were explaining what it is that you do.
I'm a personal trainer for women who struggle with exercise. So they come and see me in my studio, my cute little studio in Bidcot, South Oxfordshire, and we work on their fitness for the life that they lead and the things that they want to do. So no standard fitness here.
Okay, so my first question for you is, what is the biggest challenge that women face when it comes to fitness?
Getting out of all of the junk that we hear in social media and everywhere about fitness being just simply about weight loss. So once you let go of that and realize that fitness is about being able to do the things you want to do for longer or do new things, suddenly it's a lot easier. A heck of a lot easier.
I mean, there's certainly stereotypes around fitness and boundaries. I'm someone who likes to lift weights, and I press quite heavy weights. And usually, and I'll give an example when you say about stereotypes. A month or two back, I was putting some plates onto the machine, 25 kilo plates. And I said to this lad, "Oh, do you mind if I have those plates as well?" And he went, "Oh, I'll do it for you," and starts sort of trying to put them on as if I'm some weak little woman who can't do it myself. And I was like, "It's really sweet, but I don't need you to, thank you." And then, there I am doing 100 kilos each side, sort of thing. So there are certainly stereotypes that are around that I think sometimes hinder and hold women back.
Yeah, I agree. And there's also a lot of misinformation. And I'm the kind of person who needs to know, like, oh, that sounds plausible, but
Yeah.
is it really? Is that, a lot of things out there? I could name like 5. Just anything that purports to be a hack won't be a hack. There's no such thing as a hack for the complicated system that is your body. Has no hack.
One of the things I keep seeing at the moment, everyone talk about, and it's something I take when I train, is about creatine.
Okay.
And the thing I keep seeing everywhere is that creatine is especially good for women when training. But
I have to go and find out, because
I mean, I take creatine as one of a few different supplements, but obviously it has its health benefits. But I'm not sure if I quite buy into it's really good all the time. The recommendations that you see people posting about on TikTok is women should be taking it every day. So I don't know if I quite buy into that, but it's something I have when I train.
It's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah. All these supplements are expensive.
Oh,
Okay. So on your profile, it says that you're a motor skills analysis specialist and a faster training expert. So do you want to explain what they are?
Yes. So let's say 10 years ago, I started taking classes, fitness classes, and then COVID came along and we all just went, oh, we can't get together and do fitness. And loads of people were asking me, what should I do? I don't know. I do group fitness. So I didn't have that level of knowledge. So I looked around, and it's really expensive to become a personal trainer. And I found a company called Faster Function, who offer you more than just standard training contracts or training courses. And they actually teach you how to read research,
Right.
and be really upfront about what's good and what's not good. And so a motor skills analysis specialist, such a mouthful, is somebody who looks at the body moving. So how bones and muscles work together to create movement. And it's different for everyone. There's an expected way that things work, but then there's everyone else's differences in how they move. So let's say you saw a squirrel going past, that might affect your squats, because you turn, and therefore it's not.
So for example, for me, I have a shallow hip socket, and that limits my movements a little bit sometimes, but I've learned to work around that.
Yeah, I bet you don't care about perfect form. You just think, I just want to lift.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do what I want to do. And I don't want to be in pain. I just want to be good at it. So perfect form doesn't mean a thing unless you're an Olympic.
For me, with doing quite big weights, that's not about competing with anyone else. It's about challenging myself and seeing how far I can push it. And actually now I've backed off that and I'm doing a lot lighter weights, but different movements. So
that's cool. That skill. So that would be really cool. And that's where I start with my clients. I try and see what they've got and where they want to be and the movements they're going to need to do and the muscles they're going to need to recruit to do that. A lot of that is actually about the brain rather than muscles are dumb, bones are dumb. They just do what they're told to do in response to a stimulus. But if you think about having a Rolodex of information in your head, if you don't have a card for that particular skill, you'll use the next best thing, which may or may not get the task done. And that's why you'll have the feelings of that doesn't feel good. So my job is to give you that Rolodex and to provide you with a safe environment to try all of these things so that your main movement will be better for the task that you want to achieve.
And I imagine you add in quite a different variety of movements as well, because that's one of the things I got middle of the year, I kind of got a bit fed up of, was is this a typical neurodivergent thing in that I crave routine and structure, but then I get bored with routine and structure. So, I was doing the same routine most days in the gym, but then I got bored of it. So then I lost interest. Whereas now I've sort of added new things in and changed things up. So I'm fine. But so I imagine that you're offering them also a wider variety of things and maybe things they hadn't considered as well.
Absolutely. There are about 50 odd ways to get a movement. If you want to get a particular movement and one isn't working for you, then I'll try one of the other 50, basically, of how, because we're complicated, aren't we? So there's no one way to achieve something. There can be other ways. I put a video on my TikTok yesterday about I've got some clients who can't lift arms above their head. So we can't not use our shoulders. Their shoulders still have to do certain tasks. They have to work at a desk and how are they going to reach things off a high shelf? And how are they going to get comfortable using their shoulders again? It was after an injury. So I devised some other exercises that don't rely on lifting the arm, but move the shoulder. The shoulder stays still, but the body moves around the shoulder. So you still get that same movement here, but you're moving your body rather than moving your shoulder.
Nice. So we've had a comment from Jackie Meek. She's enjoying sipping her homemade latte. That's her 11 a.m. treat every day. That sounds rather nice, doesn't it? I'm afraid, Jackie, I am on the lemon and honey and ginger tea because I'm at the tail end of a cold. But what is your cuppa today?
Well, I have got some warm herbal tea in here because I didn't have time to make a lovely latte, and now I'm feeling totally FOMO about it. And after this, I'm going to go and have a latte too.
Nice, that sounds lovely. I've just put your LinkedIn across the bottom of the screen, so if anyone wants to connect with you as we're chatting, they can find you on LinkedIn. What motivates and drives you?
Oh, that's such a cool question. Let me take a moment to think about that. I have a real burning desire to help people, but also to challenge the stereotype around exercise,
Hmm.
because the fitness industry wants you to spend loads and loads of money, and they give you loads of new things to worry about. And every time something like that happens, I'm like, is it me? Why doesn't that sit nicely with me? So I have to go and find out. And so I learned to research and read research. And it's so nice to be able to just go, that's not a thing. We
Yeah.
don't need to worry about cortisol hacking, and we don't need to worry about intermittent fasting. You know, we're so consumed with existential dread of our imminent demise that we love when the
I
fitness
think that
industry comes in with stuff.
there's a certain element, isn't there, that people are always looking for the next quick fix. Whereas
Yeah.
actually, it's not about a quick fix. It's a
No.
lifestyle change. It is a lifestyle, not a quick fix. You're not going to suddenly get fit if you go to the gym for 3 weeks and work out. You've got to build into your routine and make it part of your lifestyle. I was having that discussion with my husband actually, coming back from the gym yesterday. I think it was that in our 20s and 30s we wouldn't have gone to the gym like we do now. Whereas for the last 10 years we've probably been going 3 or 4 times a week, and it's become part of our lifestyle, and it's something we just naturally do now. And I kind of think I can't imagine not training and working out every week. Obviously, everyone has their off weeks, but do you know what I mean? It's just naturally become part of what we do.
I keep fit through my clients, to be fair. That's the reason I love my job.
I was going to
And
say,
I'm actually a little bit sore this week because I decided to do all their workouts. I test them all
well,
before they come to make sure they're correct, or if they need adapting. So yeah, I do them with them. And a lot of my clients are online. So who's
yeah,
showing them how to do it? Me. And so yeah, I keep fit through my clients. I think exercise is really important, but for a lot of people, going to the gym isn't accessible,
yeah.
either time, finances, or the environment isn't conducive to them.
Well, before we started going to the gym, we used to have home gym equipment.
Oh,
So I used to just work out in the garage, but it was very cold and dingy.
and lonely, lonely.
It was very lonely. But I'm one of those, I can't work out unless I've got music. So if I forget my headphones, that's it. But maybe that's because my brain gets too distracted by and overstimulated by all the extra noise. So, the sound deadening headphones on is brilliant for me because it blocks out all the excess noise and I can just have my music in my zone and get going. So is there a particular artist playlist that's good for workouts for you?
Oh, it totally depends. Cardio, you want something nice and fast, similar to the heartbeat that you're aiming for. But I find if you're doing strength work, a nice bit of R&B is quite good. So Missy Elliott, bit of Missy
If,
Elliott
if
there,
I'm
the right tempo.
if I'm doing weights machines, it's going to be something like Linkin Park Hybrid Theory, that sort of like album, or
Rage.
yeah, what's the other? Last few months has been a lot of Chase and Status. I like the tempo with that and just playing that, but it really does vary. Um, I made the mistake of I was going through Amazon and it comes up with suggested playlists, and it came up with Naughty's Rock, and I was like thinking, it's going to be something a little bit more aggressive. I mean, I'm not into rock or metal, but I was like, it might be a little bit interesting, and it was, and then nothing wrong with these artists, but it was the wrong sort of music for the workout. Foo Fighters, Linkin Park, and Nickelback, and I was a bit like,
Ooh.
oh, not quite what I thought the Naughty's Rock would be. It was very more sort of poppy than rocky, if you know what I mean. So it
Mhm.
didn't quite it wasn't the right playlist vibe for me anyway.
It can
So
work both ways as well. If you find something that's too boppy, I'll want to go off and have a bop rather than do the exercise. So,
what did I put on
I
in the
have a
kit?
very carefully curated Spotify list that I share with my I have a group class, and it's called Bring Your Own Music, because
Right.
streaming music's quite hard and
Yeah.
expensive. So everyone can just have the music at home at whatever, tempo they want. And then the movements, it's not hugely choreographed. So it's sort of, if you miss the first one, it doesn't matter. We're going to do loads, and I'll give you loads of warning before we change. And that's worked really well. I don't see an awful lot of things like that in the sort of dancey fitness thing, because they're all very, let's change the move every 4 beats. And part of the attraction is being able to nail that routine. Whereas if you're at home and there's a lag, or your music's not the same, then it can be really frustrating.
What would be your top tip for someone looking to get started with fitness?
Oh, wow. Fitness is just one part of your health equation. And it normally boils down to 2 things. People like to be in control of their own health, and they like to feel confident, basically. So underneath every reason for fitness will be one of those, if not both of those 2 things: self-confidence and self-efficacy. And it's about asking yourself why, over and over again, why you want to, say, either lose weight or feel fitter. It's the why.
Yeah.
So is it, well, I'm starting to feel like I can't do the things I want to do anymore, or maybe things in your life are making you feel older, or it's naturally we get less fit as we get older because we become more sedentary. So it's about saying, oh, I don't want to live in an armchair. Maybe there's an event that you're training for. Maybe you want to try something new, but you're a bit scared that it's going to go horribly wrong.
When I lost my weight training motivation, I still was going to the gym. I had like a 5K race I was training for, so I just treadmilled, and that was my motivation and driving factor. We've got a question from Jackie. If we're doing home workouts, can you give some suggestions as to how we set up appropriate goals for our fitness? That's a great question there, Jackie.
Yeah, it's pretty much, so you can be really specific and say, I want to use a measurement, or you can just say, I just want to feel better about doing exercise. So the exercise that you do for a home workout might mirror the thing that you do in your real life. Maybe you love going for walks. Maybe you like hill walking. Maybe you love wild swimming, or like you play a sport. So I tend to think of the thing that's going to happen. If I had a magic wand and made you fit right now, what would you be doing with that fitness? And that's your goal. It's to do that thing. So let's say you want to play tennis in the summer, or you want to go wild swimming, or something you want to do in the future. That's the question I ask. If I could wave a magic wand and it was all just like done and dusted, what would be different? What would you be doing?
Okay, so ask yourself that question and set your goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to have a weight attached to it, or a measurement. It just has to be about the thing, being better at the thing that you want to do.
That makes sense. So how did you get into being a personal trainer? What did you do before?
So I was a stay-at-home mum. I mean, like way before. I've been a stay-at-home for about 12 years. And then an opportunity came my way where I was taking a class and I loved it. And then the instructor moved away. I mean, that was rude. It was rude, wasn't it? She upped and moved away, and I was proper gutted about that. And I thought, how am I going to get that experience? I was very attached to it. I've been doing it for a while. And it was really making me feel good, and I was feeling really fit, and I was really happy, and I'd look forward to it. And then suddenly it was gone. I thought, wow, I'm going to have to train. This thought popped up. I'm going to have to take this class. That's how it started. And then sort of I taught that class for about 7 years in the community around here and online during lockdown. But I realised I had questions, and there was more that I wanted to know about fitness, especially as it's quite confusing, isn't it? You just need to scroll Instagram and be confused by, what's happening there? What is he doing?
Yeah, and I think that there is a lot of content out there from very young female fitness influencers. You don't very often see ladies of our age necessarily being fitness influencers. I think that's quite an interesting one. And something we haven't touched on yet is obviously menopause and fitness. I know you've done some work on that before.
Yes. Well, menopause is, wow, women just have stages of life. They just go on, don't they? And it's just another stage of life.
I know,
An
because
awful lot of
childbirth
it.
wasn't enough.
Yeah. And there are things that we need to think about. Exercise isn't always the answer to every single health question. So sometimes there's like other things at work, like your genetics, your age, your gender, and those are the things that we can't control. And that becomes more of a medical issue if there's a medical issue there. If menopause is right for you, great. If you need support, it's more than just feeling, it's about thinking about bone density and sexual function and your muscle mass, because when I'm 80, I want to be getting on and off the toilet myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about squeezing that way.
So yeah, sorry, I did lose track of thought. Do you? I've forgotten what I was going to say there.
How long have you been weight training? What questions for you now?
How long have I? Well, I
And
started.
what brought you to it?
I started in my mid-30s, and I at the time was very overweight, and I'd gone to the GP, and they prescribed me 10 weeks of sessions with a trainer up at the gym, and I went and I did that. So once a week I'd see the trainer, and she would show me things to do, and then just get on and do it, sort of thing, for a couple of times a week, and then I just never stopped, really. Obviously I had a lot of weight loss a couple of years ago, so I lost 8 stone, and I still love training to this day. And it's at school, I did everything I could to not do PE. Like, it was not my thing at all. Basketball, I played basketball, absolutely loved that. Football I used to play, but I really wasn't that into PE at all. Hated hockey and things like that. And then as an adult, I got into it.
I was not sporty at school. I think I really liked racket sports. That was about it. But everything else could just do one. I was not interested.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of people's experience, that school ruined exercise.
I've not got the coordination at all. So classes, I tried doing a stepping class once when I was in my early 20s, and I was like, yeah, no, this is not for me. I haven't got the coordination, and I just ended up getting flustered. And I can't think of anything worse. I'm sorry if I offend anyone with this. I can't think of anything worse than a spin class.
Oh.
Someone shouting at me with music playing too loud would be, sensory-wise, would be too much of an overload for me and overwhelm, and I just couldn't. So yeah, it's not for me.
Well, luckily there's a heck of a lot of choice out there, and you found the thing that you love doing, and that's brilliant. I mean, you are one of the success stories of that program where you could go and get your session at the gym. Amazing.
It was really useful, and it certainly got me going to the gym. And like I was saying, with the legs stuff, my quads are super strong. So now just trying to work on all the other muscles. But yeah, what's your favorite gym wear brand? That's a good question.
Oh, I don't know. As you can see, I just wear tracky bums and a jumper. This one is like Amazon, and these are from I'm not even sure, H&M. So whatever's comfy, really. But I do, for leggings and for dance work, it has to be ones that have a drawstring, so they stay up, because there's nothing worse than them gradually falling down and taking your knickers with them. And you're like, no.
I've got the issue now where some of my gym bottoms are too big, and I'm like trying to, and they're usually were previously skin tight, so I'm trying to pull them up, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I think I need some new ones. No, for me, I love my Under Armour stuff. I have a lot of that.
Oh, cool.
And Nike. I'm a Nike girl. I have to confess, I own about 8 pairs of Nikes.
I think having a good sports bra is essential, actually.
Yeah. Well,
when I was sports bra, good trainers, and leggings that stay up.
When I was a bigger girl, I used to have the shock absorber ones, and they were really good, and literally nothing moved. These days, it's just the Under Armour ones are actually quite good, but I've tried some of the other sportswear brands ones, and they just don't offer the support at all. And us ladies, we do need the support.
We do. There's nothing I mean, I'm happy that none of my workouts are on the floor, so we don't need to worry about like face into the floor, boobs on the floor. But yeah, when you're jumping around, you just want something that doesn't hurt your neck or like dig in your shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on today. I'm going to show a quick video in relation to our next guest. So coming up on the 13th of December, I have the lovely John Fuggles. I always say it wrong, so apologies, John, if I've hashed that up. And I'm just going to take us off the screen and show a quick video. So bear with me a second whilst I take us off the screen. So that tells you a little bit about John, and he's coming on in 2 weeks' time to talk to us about Help for Ukraine. They are doing amazing things. I think the number is much higher than 39 now. I believe it's in the 40s somewhere. But they basically raise funds to purchase ambulances, fill them with medical supplies, and send them over to Ukraine where they're needed. So they do some great work, and John and I go way back, so I can't wait to get him on and have a chat. And I want to thank you for coming on today. You've been amazing. And if anyone wants to connect with you, let me just take this one off and put this back up. They can connect with you on LinkedIn. So linkedin.com/in/Jasmine Reddin. Anything else you want me to share?
Oh, no, just I hope everyone has a lovely Christmas and has a nice rest. And then, yeah, come see me in January.
Right, wonderful. So, yeah, thank you for joining us, and I hope you've had a great time today.
I did. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.